Hello everyone, this is Sakshi Bhagwas. Today we are going to discuss about biotic and abiotic interactions. When we talk about biotic and abiotic, first we should know what ecosystem is. So in ecosystem, there are two components. One of them is biotic component, another is abiotic component. So biotic components can interact with biotic as well. Along with that, biotic can interact with abiotic components as well. So we have to see two kind of interactions. One is biotic interaction, another is abiotic and biotic. First of all, we will be studying about abiotic and biotic interactions. So the abiotic components is basically the things like air, water, soil, temperature, light, physiographic factors, etc. Whereas in case of biotic component, we study about animal, plant, microorganisms, which are living organisms. So these living as well as non-living things interact with each other. So this we have to study in this biotic and abiotic interaction. The first thing that we have to study is with air. So air is basically, it is first of all providing as a medium for living. Also it has biota in air. Third is it is important for the respiration, animal as well as plant. Also it is important for the photosynthesis as CO2, which is an important raw material of photosynthesis taken from air only. Along with that, water. It is first of all acting as a habitat. Another is a resource for survival. Third thing is it provides raw material for photosynthesis. Also there are a number of processes that can never happen without water in our body. So water is also important for that. Next thing is with soil. First of all, soil is acting as a habitat for organisms. There are a number of animals that live in the soil. Another thing is provide anchoring for the plants. Plants are attached to the soil, so they provide an anchorage to them. Also they are important source of nutrient, and they are also important for the decomposition of dead and decaying. And if they are important for dead and decaying decomposition, it also plays an important role in the circulating material in the biogeochemical cycles. So these are the things for which soil is important. When we talk about this biogeochemical cycle, soil is acting as an intermediate for the transfer of chemicals. For example, something had died, it will decompose into the soil, release the nutrients into the soil, and then it will go back into the cycle or the chain that is circulating the material. Next thing is with temperature. So first of all, temperature is important for the maintenance of biochemical structures. Second is it keeps the biomolecular structure intact, which is important for their activities. Another thing is the metabolic activities are also regulated by the temperature. Next thing is temperature is important for the reproduction. It plays a vital role in the maturation of gonads, also in the gametogenesis, also in the formation of gametes. Also it is important for the sex determination as well. Next thing is light and radiation. Light plays direct and indirect role in case of plants. When you talk about plant, it is important for the photosynthesis, photoperiodism, hormone regulation. In indirect interaction, it is important for transpiration, absorption of water, and respiration of plants. In case of animal, the UV rays can change mutation, can cause mutation in the DNA. Metabolic rate is affected. Pigmentation is also changed by temperature. Also, the movement of animal, that is we also call the migration, is affected by the light only, because whatever the light is, whatever the climate is, it would be deciding when the animals are moving, how the animals are moving, and where the animals are moving. Next thing is biotic interaction. The biotic interaction is between the living and living organism. That means it is between biotic components only. So it has two interactions, positive and negative. Positive interaction involve mutualism and commensalism. Negative interaction involves exploitation, antibiosis, it is, and commensalism and competition. Exploitation is of three types: social parasitism, and predation. So these are biotic and abiotic interaction. First we'll be studying about the positive interaction. In positive interaction we have two types: mutualism and commensalism. Mutualism is when organism 1 and organism 2 both are getting benefited only. For example, lichen, in which fungi and algae help each other to survive. One of them gathers nutrient, another creates the food. So both are in the positive situation. So it is mutualism. Commensalism is one is getting benefited and another is not affected at all. For example, आपका orchids and mosses. Orchids are not affected at all. Mosses are getting positive by getting habitat. Another is negative interaction. So when we talk about negative interaction, first of all is exploitation. Exploitation involves social parasitism and predation. In in three of them, one of them is positively affected, another is negatively affected, but ways are different. Social parasitism, in this a number of benefits are taken, such as egg parasitism of cuckoo. In this the cuckoo is like using the nest of another organism for her egg. Parasitism is when food and shelter are obtained from the one organism only, for example, flat-forming human. Predation is when prey and predator, basically it's hunting, lion and deer is a very common example. In antibiosis and amensalism, both of the one of the organism is positively affected, other is not affected at all. That means the chemicals are released basically in antibiosis, whereas in amensalism there is nothing like that. Antibiosis example is black walnut, which releases juglin, which affect the life of another plants there, whereas the plant itself is not affected at all. Whereas in amensalism, algal bloom is not releasing any chemical, but it is blocking the transfer of oxygen or air to the aquatic organism, so they are not benefited. But algal bloom is not affected at all. Competition in when the organisms living in the same area compete for the limited resources, such as lions and hyenas, so they live in a competition kind of relationship. So in this, both of them are negatively affected. So this is all about the negative interaction that is happening between the biotic and biotic organism. So in this, basically one of them should be negatively affected, another is in antibiosis and amensalism, mind it, but it is not positively affected, both are negatively affected, and another one is not affected at all. So this is a typo error, but remember this. So basically this is, one of them is not affected at all in antibiosis as well as in amensalism, and another one is not negatively affected. Next is there's some words by E.O. Wilson. Look closely at the nature. Every species is a masterpiece, exclusively adapted to a particular environment in which it has survived. So who are we to destroy or diminish the biodiversity? So basically they are helping us to survive, and they all are directly or indirectly affecting us and helping how we survive. So thank you so much. This is all about this.